DXY, DXY. Okay, so I've deleted everything, fresh chart. So what I do when I break down everything with the markets, I do start on the higher time frames just to get perspective. But obviously when we're looking for trades, for me personally, it's strictly the 1 hour, 15 minute and the 1 minute for entry. So let me just see if there's any channels or anything going on. The monthly, what is happening here? Okay, so this is still on the cards, which is fine. Okay, still some bullish momentum. Also, the larger wedge, and it's the same schematics that we do on the 1 minute and 5 minute time frame. We still do it on the monthly. So this is obviously telling me that there's a potential kind of boomerang happening down here. There's a massive banker block all the way down here. There'll be some price action, but obviously we'll be expecting maybe a boomerang. There's a bit of a slingshot / bank level up here. And what else do we have? Let's go to the weekly. This is too big. This banker block's way too big. Yeah, we'll be focusing on this weekly bank level. Okay, that's like the long-term targets. Obviously, if there's a boomerang just above it, we'll reevaluate when prices, in case price or something like this, go sideways and then forms a pattern. And if it forms a pattern, then we know that there'll be a boomerang here somewhere. So at the moment, that's a few weeks away. So let's not focus too much on that. The daily now. So obviously this structure is telling us that the daily and just the overall trend, there's so much room to the upside. We're looking at a daily time frame, remember that. Okay, so what's happening here? Any equal highs? Yeah, they've been mitigated already. It's expected, but now it's obviously just climbing higher. Okay, so now we can start drawing our patterns. Do I see anything here? Not necessarily. Well, actually, okay, no, I'll take that one back. This is an okay channel. These are the channels this is what I call an expanding channel. These are fine, right? We do trade that. The ones I don't trade is these. Hold on, let me just let people in. The ones I don't trade is, hold on, are they in? Okay, should be in, okay. The ones I don't trade are these ones here. These sort of expandings, or when the channel's at this, hold on, or it's just basically when the angle's too steep, I don't like that. But when it's like a parallel channel, that's fine. When it's a parallel channel with sort of a wide schematic, then yeah, that's fine as well. And yes, thank you, Gonzalo. Let me see if that works. That can work as well. Yeah, we've got a bit of a plan A and a plan B. Obviously, once and if this one fails, then we know this one is plan B, so that's fine. You know what, let's check it and see if it's an actual parallel channel. Hold on. No, it's not. So what we can do is just keep the original. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. So we've got some room to the upside, then obviously plan B at the outer structure. For those of you who joined a bit late, this is the structure I'm referring to, this sort of weekly larger wedge on the weekly time frame. And right now we're just bullish within this channel. So we just have to, yeah, just wait for a setup. Okay, what else is happening? So right now the market has obviously broken from above here. Cool, that's done. We also have broken structure here on the H4, right? And the H4, yeah, that's fine, that's the correct structure. So we're quite bearish, and this is why the market has obviously pulled back. Another thing to take into consideration is that this structure here on the H4 hasn't really been retested. So this is a pretty decent area to be targeting potential buys. Let's do that again. DIEGO imbalance. There we go. Well, this imbalance, I'll redefine this obviously when time comes. Right now, I'm not going to go into details. We're finding the 15-minute, the 1-minute imbalance. We'll do that when prices are nearer. So yeah, we've got this potential banker block hasn't been retested. This banker block here that you can see has obviously been retested already. Let's go to the H1. It's my favorite time frame to do the actual sort of analysis. And what do we have here? Okay, there we go. We've got a nice banker block. That's been filled, fair enough. The only thing is the way it's rejected of it is quite weak, isn't it? Right, it's quite corrective, so it's raising an eyebrow, and it's quite compressive as well. That's just something to take into consideration. Let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, but this just have to be a bit careful as well. What else do we have? Equal lows. Equal lows, and we do have this particular sort of liquidity pool there. Oops, let's do that again. When we do the levels, we do need to be quite accurate. Look how, there we go. Okay, so we could expect some form of a little bullish move if we do get some form of a break of structure. So what we do is we follow the break of structure. We've got another Torres in the building. We got, was it Militza Torres? Got Militza Torres, DIEGO Torres, and Gabriel Torres. And guys, we're not related. It was just a common Spanish name. Okay, Valley Boy. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for a break of structure on the DXY. And because it looks a bit bullish, this is why I banked some of the profits on the euro, which I'm going to cover soon. So as it stands, I am expecting this to get filled, but what takes precedence is the current price action, equal lows, compression. There's a bit of a liquidity pool. So I'm not going to have a very bearish mindset and be like, I'm expecting this to mill. And, no, what the market is telling me right now is there could be some form of a rally. And even if it's a short-term rally, we can still catch a trade and then sell it. Or maybe it could just completely rally and go long and this will never get filled, right? Never have a bias. It's just change your bias quickly and just adapt to what the market is telling you. So that's, that's the game plan on the DXY. Go back to the 15. Also, is there any sort of patterns forming? I mean, I can't really see any. Hold on. This is the pattern we want. We're not going to do, guys. But this is way too expanding. So, when you guys post in the chat, is this pattern valid? No, it's not. It's way, way too expanding, right? We want to see something like this would be fine, but there's no there's no tap here. So if anything, where it could be, it could just be a parallel channel. Right, we can have it, we can have it there as a reference. And the reason this would be an okay channel is because the medium trend line, as you can see, there's some activity, look, rejection, break, retest, and here as well, look. So that's a valid channel. When the medium is here, for example, and there's no activity and you've got a channel there, that's a very low probability channel, or it's just invalid. So always look at the medium trend line to see if there's any activity there, if you're unsure about whether your channel is valid. Okay, so yeah, that's the DXY. Euro, I've covered this in the group. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's really just this banker block here. Hold on. Let me just delete this again. I know some of you caught it as well. Okay, so again, you know, we're looking at the medium. So it's quite valid. As you can see, a lot of break, retest continuation, break, retest continuation, bit of a liability hunt, and then it completely just, you know, broke it. But most importantly is I was expecting the second tap, right? We've got 1 and 2. The second tap is only valid if there's a pattern approaching it. If there's no pattern and you just see momentum, or you see whatever you see and there's no pattern, the second tap, this is not going to work out, right? So this is why I was quite confident with this channel playing out. And on the 15-minute, in the 15-minute, we saw obviously this potential boomerang where we are, from around here. We have this large banker block, which I don't trade. I'll never take a banker block when this banker block's too high. It's just a point of interest. Because normally when the banker block is that big, you can still redefine it to something like this. Right? You can still redefine it. You can go on a 5-minute and redefine it one more time, as you can see. You can just keep on redefining it, right? But the reason I had it as a large banker block is just to monitor price action. I wasn't really interested in that. If you guys saw in the chat, I was mainly waiting for something like this, break of structure, and then I want to catch the retest. It's just a point of interest. We do not want to be taking a boomerang of a banker block like that. This is fine. If we take a boomerang from here, and it's the redefined 5-minute banker block, then yeah, you can take a boomerang. But again, I wouldn't recommend taking a boomerang when you start trading a BOT, because they don't have a high win rate like the 1, 2, 3. So if we go and see what happens, and then it basically got triggered on the 5-minute, or not, at least the 15-minute. But again, that's irrelevant. It's just the 1, 2, 3 area. Over here, we've got the 1. Right, the breaker structure to the left with momentum. That's number 1. So remember, you've got this, and then boom, a large rally. Breaker structure hasn't been retested yet. This is your number 1 area. Number 2 is some form of a pattern at number 2. This is the boomerang, right? The boomerang will be something like this, and then boom, this is the boomerang, which is fine. But I would recommend catching the 3, which is a break of structure around the boomerang point of interest, and then you catch it with a new pattern. This is number 3. So you've got 1, 2, which is the boomerang, and 3 is the boomerang retest, right? So I prefer catching the 1, 2, 3. And let's go to the 5-minute. Is the 1, 2, 3 a separate entry? Yes. So basically, the 1, 2, 3 is just a redefined terminology of the boomerang. So you see on the course, you've got the boomerang and you've got the boomerang retest. The boomerang retest is the number 3. So the number 1 is the break of structure. The number 2 is the boomerang, and the number 3 is the boomerang retest. There are 2 separate entries. The 1, 2, 3, the boomerang on the number 3, that has a higher win rate, and this is the one that I've caught. I could have caught the boomerang right here, down here somewhere, but the reason I don't like the boomerang, I will take the boomerang if I'm in profit for the week and I've got a buffer to play with, is because the stop loss needs to be readjusted. I mean, when this was happening, for example, if I set the boomerang outside of this pattern here, right, I'll have to base the stop loss of the 15-minute banker block down here somewhere, right? Because you don't want to have a stop loss down here. It just doesn't make sense, right? But then what happens with the boomerang is that sometimes this happens, which is exactly why I don't, you have to be careful. So you see this, and then you're expecting a boomerang of this, but then all of a sudden it extends to another pattern, which can easily go even lower, right? So the best thing to do is just to wait for the 1, 2, 3. Which is what happened, obviously, over here. So let's see what's happened. I don't think it's going to let me go far in time. Anyway, let me delete this. Let's go to the current time. Hold on. So boomerang got triggered, which is down here. And if we go on a 1 minute time frame, the same schematic that I just went over is exactly what happened on the 1, 2, 3. So you've got the boomerang, which obviously happened. You've got your relevant breaker structure. So obviously this is the relevant breaker structure. Keep on following it down, and we're using this one here, right? Let me just sort of tidy this up a little bit. So now, once there was a breaker structure, and notice how I'm using obviously this one and not this one and not this one, is because this is the recent relevant one, right? I'm sure you guys know what the relevant structure is. Okay, so once that happened, this is very important for me, is a very clear breaker structure. When it's very weak and you have a breaker structure like, I don't know, let me see if I can see something. Yeah, let's say something like this, for example. And it breaks structure, liquidity grab, liquidity grab, liquidity grab, break of structure, right? This is the confirmation candle. However, the break of structure overall is quite weak compared to this, right? So when this happens, it gives me more conviction. When I see something like this at a very good point of interest, I will still be very, very careful, and I'll probably wait for an extra confirmation. For example, I may say a boomerang, and I won't take this trade here. I would probably wait for another breaker structure and then catch a new pattern, because, you know, this is weak. So you need to really just add this to your arsenal. Just have it in your checklist. Is the breaker structure weak or is it strong? If it's weak, wait for confirmation. If it's strong, don't wait for confirmation. Is there a pattern at your point of interest? This is the point of interest right here. Look, we've got 2 points of interest actually. Is there a pattern? Yes, you take it. Is there no pattern? You don't take it, right? You just have to follow the checklist. Trading is not easy. You guys make it hard if you just don't have a checklist and a very, very strict set of rules. Is there equal lows? No. Is there equal lows? Yes. So you may increase the risk, you may reduce the risk. So once you have this, once you've got everything just written up, you just follow the rules. It's really, really that simple. But obviously, you still need to backtest, simulate, and just master it, which takes a long time, which is what you guys are doing. Okay, so this happened. There was a banker block. I believe it was on the 15-second time frame. The reason it's a 15-second is because this 1 minute banker block here didn't really like it, you know, because it's the previous move down before the breaker structure, but then there was this candle and this wick, which retested this banker block. So it's a valid banker block, but it's just messy and weak. And it's only one candlestick, right? So I didn't really like it. If we go to the 15-second, so this is this is a lot better. Look, there's more than one candlestick. From here to there, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candlesticks before the breaker structure. So this 15-minute was clearer. This 15-second banker block was clearer compared to this 1 minute banker block. Because look, it got retested already, right? So again, add that to your watch list. If the banker block on the 1 minute is not clear, then play around with it. Go to the 15 seconds. It's the same with when you're drawing patterns. If a pattern is not clear on the 1 hour, sorry, on the H4, then you may need to look at the 1 hour, right? With the BLT, it's not going to be it's not going to be perfect in every aspect of the analysis. Sometimes you need to have discretion, be a bit flexible, and flick around different timeframes. So this was a perfect example on when you can use the lower timeframes, lower than the 1 minute. It's because the 1 minute wasn't clear. And if after everything I just did, all the confluences, all the boomerangs, all the breaker structure, then I see a beautiful pattern, and then all of a sudden the banker block is just not clear to me, and it's been already mitigated a little bit. Like there's something wrong, something you need to investigate a bit more, basically. And that's what happened. I looked at the lower timeframes, and there was a very clear 15-second banker block. So that's what happened. Got triggered in, set the order up, and normally with the 1, 2, 3, or when you catch an entry with the BLT, I'm sure you guys are aware that you should really see some profits pretty quickly, as in a big rally up, right? But because it was 5, 6 p.m. and then I see this descending structure. I'm not going to be in front of the charts. I had to go somewhere real quick. I didn't trust this descending structure. So I thought, you know what, maybe it might just come to this banker block. There's equal lows here. I don't want to risk losing the trade, which although I did reduce the risk by 50% after it rallied, I just thought, you know what, I saw 2R somewhere around here. Can't remember where, I think it was around there or a little bit sooner. And I just took 80% of the profit. It was Friday. I'm happy with that. But I thought, you know what, there's something was telling me it was going to drop. And probably just mess around. Think about it, it's 5, 6 p.m. It's quite late. And you have to go somewhere. And you have to go. I cannot babysit this trade. I actually had to go somewhere. I just took profit, but I left 20% running on the table. And it did drop and almost sort of took me out, but it didn't take me out. And then eventually, you know, it's like 6 p.m. I'm not even checking the charts. I've accepted the 2-hour win. My trade's on break even, don't really care what happens. And yeah, then I saw this when I got home or whatever. And I haven't really been looking at the charts until literally this morning. Because I banked profit, I more or less considered the trade done. And because the trade is on break even, I don't have to be like looking at the charts all the time, right? The trade is done. And if anything happens, if the market completely crashes, I know that I'll still hit around 1R of that 20% that I left on break even. When I say break even, it was like 1R in profit. So kind of just left it. So when I saw it this morning, and I don't have MT4 on my phone, I obviously saw 17 and I was like, wow, okay. So I had to obviously bank some more profits, 50% of the 20% remaining. And that was a pretty cool trade. I mean, had I obviously left the full risk on, I would have been done for the next 2 months, to be honest, but it happens, doesn't it? And now I can just leave this to climb even higher, you know? But again, I've already banked it. Anyway, this is done. This trade is done. What is likely to happen next? I've journaled it already. So no, I haven't journaled it. No, I haven't. No. So what I need to do is hide this. Let's do this after. And the rest is fine. Okay, cool. So what is likely to happen now? This is one of the reasons I banked. I mean, I kind of saw this and I just thought, you know what, trying to hold it all the way here. I don't want to be a hero. The market's telling me to bank some profit. So I banked some profit. Very happy with that profit taken. Okay, let me reanalyze the euro again from scratch. So for the monthly, what's happening here? Similar to the DXY, I guess. I mean, we do have, okay, hold on. Let's go with boomerang. Okay, updated. Cool. So lots of room to the downside. Expecting maybe a little pullback and then a continuation and then a rally. That's the game plan for the next few months anyway. But okay, what's happening down here? I'm not gonna look for banker blocks and everything on the monthly. It just doesn't make it's just not worth it. Weekly, no, this we can delete. This as well. Really compressive. Nice little channel. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is done anyway. Wait, hold on, maybe. I'm gonna separate this just in case it goes. Let's leave it there actually. Okay, what else is happening? Okay, some equal lows on the weekly. So you know what that means. Okay, so these are good targets. So yeah, it's looking decent. And when you see some equal lows inside of a large pattern or a small pattern, even if it's a tiny 1 minute pattern, if there's equal lows in the middle, that increases the probability of it being a boomerang in the future. So yeah, I mean, I'll be expecting these equal lows to get hit. Maybe not today or this week. What could happen is the market could completely rally for the next week or two and then plummet. Or it could just plummet from this week. We don't know yet, but these equal lows are very juicy. So there's some nice liquidity there that we need to aim for. What's happening here? Okay, so daily time frame. Okay, so let me see. So yeah, this break of structure has happened already. Some momentum, but notice how on the daily, it's a very weak rejection, right? Very wicky. It's not really convincing. So this is just telling me that it will drop soon. Let's go to the H4. H4. Delete this. I'm going to be watching out for this cheeky little banker block here. Let's go to the H1. So the reason I prefer H1 is because the patterns and the candlesticks are just a million times clearer than the H4. So it's more or less the same thing most of the time. And okay, so now this banker block that I just did on the H4, I'm going to delete it. Right? Why? Because if we notice how this break of structure happened, it actually happened by this banker block here, but not just that, there is also some equal highs here on the H1. So let me just add that on. It's a nice little point of interest there. So I have a bit of an imbalance. And if obviously price just continues going higher and it looks like this is going to get completely mitigated, then we'll look for the imbalances and the banker blocks above it. But for now, let's just focus on the relevant sort of recent ones. Okay, okay, hold on. Okay, when this happens now, when you kind of just do this and you can see that this angle, you know what, that's actually not too, that's okay. Actually, no, you know what, that is fine. Leave that as it stands there. But then this will mean that if price, the reason I'm sort of hesitating, I don't sound too convincing, is because, you've got an okay pattern to complete this, but there's a very, very clear sort of flag here. So this to me is telling me that there's a good chance it will probably drop to the downside before it comes up here. So that's why, yeah, I'll be careful with sort of trying to trade this apparent bullish channel. Plus, the other thing is it's got so much room to come up here. Normally, that's a very, very big gap. Okay, 15-minute. I'm going to delete the channel. It's just too big, too wide. It looks like we just need to let price develop into something clearer. I'm going to focus on the relevant price action, which is this sort of flag here. Obviously, if we get a nice strong bullish momentum, then okay, fair enough. Then I'll re-update it to this channel. But for now, this is the relevant price action. So we need to study this sort of bearish flag, equal highs, break of structure, banker blocks, and whatnot for a move to the downside. So let's go to the 15-minute, follow the relevant structure. Where we are, done. So, sorry, wrong one. So really, as you can see, This bank block hasn't really been retested, has it? Go. There is a lot of equal highs, some cheeky ones, just proper cheeky ones just hiding them. Let's go to the 5 minute. Look at this bank level just in case. And also this sort of imbalance here as well. Not going to use it as an entry, it's just as a little reference. And then we also have this little cheeky equal highs. Right, so we'll see what happens. There's a lot going on. So then what I'll personally like to see is some confirmation from around here. Right, so break of structure. Right, as you can see, relevant low, relevant high. It then more or less formed some liquidity grab, was quite weak, and then eventually it did break, and then 15 minutes it got clearer. So this area hasn't been retested. There's a lot of liquidity here. And what do we have? We have a boomerang. Right, we've got a 1, 2, and a potential third tap. You might even include this as a tap as well, but we'll see. What else is happening? That's about it. Now, if it melts from it, you know, fair enough. If it does, it does. But I'll have this as the sort of reference point, just in case it doesn't reach up here. So at the moment, I'm looking for an entry. I'm looking for a 1, 2, 3 from around here, or a 1, 2, 3 from around here. So what I mean by that, for those of you who are still not too confident with the 1, 2, 3, is over here again. I'll repeat it. Number 1 is to break a structure. As you can see, it's a break of structure, and it hasn't been retested. Look, it hasn't really been retested. This area hasn't been retested. So that's your number 1, right? It tried to retest it. When this happened, of this sort of weak banker block here, but let's go to the 15 minutes, not clearer. But the main sort of action and liquidity is up here, right? You can just see the liquidity. So hold on. There we go. It's from here. Look, this is the candlestick on the 15 minute that took that structure, if that makes any sense. You just tidy this up before it gets too messy. Boom, boom, okay. So what I mean by that, this candlestick here, that's a liquidity grab. It's the body close outside. It's quite small. I'm looking at the body here. I'm not looking at this body because that's part of this territory. I need a territory below it, which is just this body. So that is just a liquidity grab. Then you've got this medium candle and this bullish. It's not convincing. They're very, very struggling. Pulled back, and then eventually you've got all of this body here closing below the break of structure. So for me, this is a break of structure, right? So that's the number 1. That's a break of structure. Number 2 is obviously your pattern. This is your pattern here. Look, all of this bullish. Sorry, this pattern here. Look, that's your number 2. But your number 2 is at your point of interest. So once price obviously goes there, right? That's your number 2. Once it gets triggered, wherever it is, because there's a million levels, then you just wait for a new break of structure at that relevant point of interest. And this is your number 3, as long as there is some form of a pattern there or some equal highs, for example. And this is a trade that I will be looking for. 1, 2, 3. This is your 3. Right, down there. And obviously the target it really just depends where. I mean, we could aim and be heroes and aim for the equal lows down here. But again, we need to be banking much, much earlier than that. So potential 1, 2, 3. Again, I've also noted that I could easily be wrong, and this could just completely rally. What could happen as well, it could just break to the downside. Because the channel is quite kind of thin, it could just rally again. And if it does, guess what? We update the pattern from here to here, and from here to there, and all of a sudden you've got a new pattern. And then we need to reevaluate, most likely take out this high and look for a stop hunt. And you know, there's no coincidence, there's a banker block here, plan A, plan B, plan C, and then we just look for a boomerang on whichever one, or even better, look for a 1, 2, 3. So I'm already prepared in advance that this compression channel can easily fail and form a new pattern, right? So you don't only accept your losses, you also accept your analysis that you could easily be wrong. But when you are wrong, it just means you just need to update the pattern. That's all it means. So I will have this just as a reference, just in case, you know. No, hold on, coming from here, my bad. Again, these channels here, they don't have any weight. It's just there in case it does drop and then you see strong bullish momentum, then we update it, right? I'll just leave it there just as a little reference point. So that's the game plan for the euro. And let me zoom in. So, okay. So what's happening here? Okay, cool. No, that's fine. That's actually fine. And just, you know, just to stay in sync with everything. I'll have some alerts here. An alert, just in case there's a trade there. And then alert up here somewhere, just to sort of get in the zone. There we go. So I've got an alert from around here, so I can look for a new 1, 2, 3, look for a new pattern, right? And an alert up here. So we really want to be trading below here or just above here. Obviously, this one has a higher probability. Trading in the middle and looking for trades here reduces the win rate a little bit, but you can still look for some trades here because, you know, if we see compression and we see a broken structure, if we see equal lows, if we see a banker block, if we see liquidity, and your analysis is saying it's going to come in, why not take a trade it, right? But personally, I do prefer taking these trades, specifically because it's the start of a new week. When I've got some profit to play with on the current week, then I don't mind taking trades down here somewhere. But again, that's me personally. Everyone's different. You don't have to copy exactly what I do. Tailor your trade into your specific plan and risk appetite. Okay, so that's the euro. So yeah, euro's done. Dollar CAD. Oh wow, this is a long one today. What's the time? Okay. Okay, I should be fine. Okay. What is happening here? I am recording, aren't I? Yes, I am. Cool. Yeah, I told you it'll be a long one. I literally have to delete all my charts. Okay, so let's start again with the DXY. DXY, let's see what's happening on the monthly. Anything relevant? Nah, that's all good to me. We do have sort of these equal lows here. And this is already telling me that obviously not now, but in the future, equal lows, I'm looking at the monthly, it's compressing. It's the same thing as the 1 minute schematics. Eventually, it might still range for the next 6 months. We don't know yet, but eventually, boom, you know, these are going to get liquidated one day. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next month, but in a couple of months it will. So we do have equal lows, but don't let that sort of cloud your judgment and just be like, okay, equal lows, it means the market's going to melt. No, it just means that It's just there as a reference. Right now, there's actually room for this to climb up. So we can still look for some decent bullish moves for the next few months. What else is happening? Hold on. Look at this, look. This pre-construction on the weekly hasn't really been retested. This sort of banker block territory down here, look. Something to pay attention to. And we also have some sort of equal highs scenarios down here. A bit messy. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, these are really cool equal highs. Hold on. This banker block, this, put it there so I don't get messy. So redefine as banker block on daily. I notice how just 5 minutes ago we were bearish on the monthly, but obviously now on the weekly, we're bullish because we know that there's a good chance we'll come up to this banker block here. Now, is there anything else happening? Let me see. I'm just speaking out loud, everyone, so ignore me. And always, always, always double check your charts. So important. So this now is telling me it's within a valid sort of, this is a valid, nice expanding channel. What I don't like is when the expanding does this, we don't do that. This is more of a nice, humble expanding channel. Okay, what else is happening? Not much going on. Cool, let's go to the H4. So it's finally retested this point of interest. Oh, even better, it's made some equal highs. Now we know this is a good target. So now it's equal highs. So if anything, we'll be looking for, a rally to the upside. So now let's go to the H1 and notice how we have, of the equal highs, of all the double top traders, right? There's obviously sold it, stop losses are here and whatnot, but it's very, very corrective. So surprise, surprise that eventually they'll get taken out. So let's aim for their liquidity. Do we see some form of any BOT setup? I don't know yet. Still, let's see. So I'm catching this trend here. It's nice and tidy. And something I'll recommend, because this is something, because I'm doing this live with you guys, I do feel like I'm kind of rushing it. So let me slow down, but mainly because I have a meeting soon. So, but in your own time, do this. Look, zoom in, stretch your screen just to make sure that the trend line is right, accurate. Look at that. This is so wrong. It will make a big difference in your trading. That's the difference between getting a level correct and wrong. So yeah, there we go. And it's kind of messing around. This could still fluctuate from around here. Okay, trend done. Let's go to the 15-minute. Follow structure round. So yes, done. Relevant high, relevant low, relevant high. Hasn't really retested this banker block yet, has it? But something that's a bit not concerning, but there is a valid pattern here. Look, so because there's a valid pattern here, then this will be our plan B pattern. So we have we do have a valid sort of boomerang 1, 2, 3 here. Of this area right here. Hold on. There we go. And also some equal lows here. So this is definitely a potential scenario on dollar CAD. If it fails again, then we just wait for the boomerang from around here somewhere. But because we do have some equal sort of low structure there. And I'll be looking at, it's quite tight. I'll be looking at this. And then obviously as price develops, then I'll be looking at this imbalance, and I'll just make my way down as the pattern makes its way down, obviously. So this happens and it goes sideways and then it drops, but we do have this happening. Then I know that this banker block and this liquidity pool is invalid. So I'll be looking for a boomerang from around here. Look to the left, then we'll be looking at this imbalance. So we'll see what happens. Again, this is just this is actually a 1, 2, 3. So you can catch the boomerang. Up to you guys if you want to trade this. Not financial advice, and aim for the equal highs. But look, good little trade. But personally, I'll be looking for the 1, 2, 3, which is, oh, it's a bit messy. I need to zoom in now. First things first, we follow structure around. Let's just start from here, for example, relevant high, previous structure, liquidity grab, liquidity grab, liquidity grab, and then boom, previous structure caused by this relevant high. Then this is the new range, right? Oh, actually, hold on a minute. This is a break of structure here. So now this is the new high. Ignore this. This is the new low here. This is the new range. This is a liquidity grab. All of this is a liquidity grab. This is the break of structure, right? Because it's a very strong candle below this significant low. And this break of structure continued going lower, made a new low. This is the high that took out this structure. So this is the relevant high. Relevant low, liquidity grab, so we ignore that. So we still have this liquidity grab over here. But this candlestick here, this wick, is a break of structure. But it's weak. The reason it's a break of structure is because price is really below this significant point. So this I'm going to count as the new low, the new high, and this is the new range here, right? I know some of you guys know this, but for those of you who are new, just thought I'll do that little exercise, which is really good for you. So now, this is more or less the break of structure territory, and we're stuck within this range basically. You know, it doesn't have to. There we go. So what I'll personally be waiting for if I want to take a long, because what's going to happen is this can still range. It can be, you know, it can make new highs from within this range. So for example, new highs here or new lows, and you might trick yourself and think, oh yes, it's making new lows, let me look for shorts. But really, we're stuck within this range here. Look, as you can see, look, we're stuck within this range. Once this range here actually does break, not a liquidity grab, but an actual break, then this will be classed as the 1, 2, 3. So you've got the 1, 2 is this pattern, right? And then obviously a break structure. Then we look for the 3, which is the, you know, the boomerang catching whatever banker block took out this structure. And then we look for longs. So at the moment, it's actually stuck within a bit of a wide 5-minute range. It's not tradable at all, for me personally though. But we do have a boomerang here, so it's completely down to you. So yeah, I'll set an alert just above him. And I'll set an alert at this banker block. The reason I'll set at the banker block is because by the time it does actually go there, it would have taken structure out, and then there'll be a new range, right? And then I'll just look for a break of structure, look for a pattern or equal lows, and then boom, we catch the trade. And yeah, that's the game plan for dollar CAD. What's this happening actually? Maybe I've missed something else. Oh, what's this? Okay. Ah, interesting. Okay, so yeah, this might play out as well. This is why I'd rather wait for some form of a breaker structure. And this also has can easily just continue going lower and forming a bit of a boomerang from around here. Well, preferably a breaker structure, then a continuation. So yeah, quite bullish on dollar CAD. And it's actually a good thing because it's right below the equal highs. But yeah, just a matter of time before it goes long, to be honest, especially because of the compression, which is looking pretty decent. Okay. AUD, USD. This has been a long one today. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to finish it, but I'll post it in the group. But again, similar scenario, everything is very, very compressive. H1, okay. Let's start with a weekly real quick. Okay, cool. Just the same story everywhere, to be honest. Yeah, that's fine. We don't have to. I mean, we actually could. I mean, this is. Here's a reference. That's a bit too steep. Let's just focus on this little price action for now. Let me separate this. Cool, daily. Now we'll separate it. Boom, boom. Making sure the trend lines are fine. Otherwise, you can get a trade wrong, honestly. Okay. Got some equal lows, and I'll be looking at this anchor block in the future when price is dead. That's a good little target. Or an entry, either one. Now, what do we have here? Okay. Nice and Connor, take care. Bye. Nice little channel. Oh, very nice channel. It's actually a really clean parallel channel. But we're in the middle of no man's land, so I'll be careful. This is the thing, when you go to a different time frame, you need to readjust it. See that? Separate this and focus on this pattern here. At the moment, this is looking okay, like a really large. Looking really good, you know. Look at that textbook. Delete this. What is happening? I mean, this hasn't been filled, this break structure, and this one is like the plan B break structure area. Hey bro, inflation rate, data, pound CAD, minutes from Aussie yen, power system on a Wednesday and Thursday. Nice one. Nice and good, bro. Good luck if you're trading Wednesdays and Thursdays. Anyone? There's a lot of volatile news. Okay, so Wednesday and Thursday, there'll be some volatility, which for me, what that says to me is in Wednesday and Thursday, price will be up here somewhere. Or maybe down, or it could be down here at the sort of point of interest. Okay, what's happening? Done. See that? I need to readjust the trend lines again. Okay, fair enough. There is a bit of a the same thing, don't have to add it, it's all good. This banker block is way too big. So I'm just gonna leave it here. I'm not going to, you know, let's redefine it in a 15-minute. And again, this is probably not gonna be valid if I'm honest, because number one is compressing, so there'll be some form of a pullback. And if it does go long, then it's not, you know, if anything, we may just get like a 3 aces there or something. So it's Monday, so it's not really too clean for now. I'll set some alerts up here somewhere, and then I'll update the pattern accordingly once price is there. Okay, so we focus on what's happening here, for example. There is a lot of compression, just looks at algos. Lots of compression. You can easily tell there's a lot of liquidity here. Minor, you know, let's just do this big one as a point of interest, set some alerts. And then preferably look for some, you know, it's a breaker structure, hasn't been filled, as you can see. This breaker structure here has already been filled, right? Liquidity grab, breaker structure, banker block, filled, right? When I mean filled, I mean it retested it. Grab liquidity, but there's no BOT setup, so there's no trade. So if anything, and plus this particular move here is just not, this one's a lot stronger because there's clear momentum. Over here now, there's momentum, but there's a bit of a pullback. This is okay. I mean, one's better than the other, one's higher as well. So this is a good little point of interest. Again, with a 1, 2, 3 little 1. Then we've got obviously 2, which is the pattern at the point of interest. And then 3 will be here somewhere. Once we get, you know, we follow structure. And once we get that break and retest with a pattern, this is your 3. So yeah, just setting some alerts there. And let's go to the 5-minute. And what's the chances of, always ask yourself, you know, it doesn't have to go there, because they can easily just do this and melt. What's the chance of that? I mean, nah, I don't think so. It's unlikely because there's equal highs here as well. One there and also one here. So it's very likely to, and it's not even just that, this high of the banker block, I do believe it's made this banker block here, this large one, or if you want to redefine that, any banker blocks within here is really weak. It's a weak banker block because this equal highs just above it and it's spiked just a little bit above it as well. So it's a weak banker block. So would I be trusting any setups around here? Nope. No, thank you. I'll definitely be looking at banker block from around here because of the equal highs. But then saying that, there's also equal highs here somewhere, look. Right, they're everywhere, to be honest. But, you know, there is a nice compression. We just need to wait for the pattern. So I'll be waiting for this. Set an alert here. And then set some alerts up here. And then we'll look for shorts for Aussie. Now, could price drop? It doesn't have to come up here just because there's an analysis there. You know, just forget the bias. There could easily be some form of a setup here, look. You know, easily. And at the moment, to be honest, this is the relevant setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate this and focus on the relevant pattern, which is this. And the second tab, right, 1, the second tab is only valid if there's a pattern. Do we have a pattern? Yes, we do. So it's a valid setup. remember, if it goes sooner than expected, we just, you know, if this happens for whatever reasons and it just melts, then we just update the pattern. Simple as that. But we just wait until the market shows its hands really. This. Okay. So if we were to do a parallel channel from here, this is why the parallel channel can come in handy sometimes. Look. More interesting. No, maybe there's something happening here that maybe I haven't seen it. What's happening? Hold on. Equalize, yeah, cool. Cool. Equalize, there's a bit of a imbalance here and a bit of a bank block here that hasn't really been sort of filled. But yeah, that's a nice point of interest. I'm not looking to catch a trade. I'm just saying it's a nice point of interest for a potential short, but it's in the middle of a pattern, so I'm not too interested in it. Until it obviously climbs higher and it goes to a point of interest, and yeah, fair enough. At the moment, yeah, I'm just gonna wait. Oh, this is also the 1 minute break structure. So yeah, it's in no man's land at the moment. Is there like a bank holiday today? Because it's so quiet. Price action is really, really messy. Okay, cool. So I'm expecting shorts on the Aussies, pretty obvious, even from around here or from around here. But I'm not going to take that trade. I'll be waiting for the number 3, whichever comes first. So nice little game plan on the Aussie. Cool. Brian, US holiday. Oh, okay. No wonder the markets. Thank you, Brian. No wonder the markets are a bit slow today. Normally, there's some decent price action before lunch, but yeah, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, cool. Dollar yen, dollar yen. Yeah, same story. Yeah, I mean equal highs, and there's also a bit of a pattern here. Yeah, I'll finish this analysis later. I do need to attend a meeting soon, so but yeah, I mean, what's this doing here? Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in Discord. Have a good trading day. Sorry I couldn't finish the dollar yen in time. I'll do that in my own time after this meeting. And yeah, trade safe, everyone. Have a very, very good day. And Gabriel, new holiday. I never heard of it. And last week I saw everything was going to be closed. Ah, interesting. Oh, good, Gonzalo. Okay, it's a new holiday as of 2021. Ah, okay, interesting. All right, take care, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.